A very good morning to my dear students. I hope that you are doing well and keeping safe at your homes. Anyway, let us continue with our studies. Today we are actually planning to go with the 8th chapter in your supplementary reader, How a Client Was Saved. This is actually a small extract taken from the autobiography of our father of nation, Mahatma Gandhi, the story of my experiments with truth. Okay, so now we can go to the preface portion in order to know what is actually the main idea being discussed in the story in this small extract. Okay, how a client was saved. As you probably know, Gandhiji worked as a lawyer in South Africa from 1893 to 1914. Pasi Rastomjee was among his earliest friends in South Africa. Later, he became one of Gandhiji's close associates and helped him in his political and social work. It was in Rastomjee's house that Gandhiji once took shelter when he was attacked by an angry mob of whites. So, a handful of information is given here about Gandhi and about Pasi Rastomjee. Okay, Pasi Rastomjee is actually one of Gandhi's earliest friends when Gandhi spent his years in South Africa. So you all know that Gandhi started his career as a lawyer, and he had been working in South Africa for about several years. So at that time he came to meet this man, and this Pasi Rastomjee was once his close associate and also one of his earliest friends, whom actually helped Gandhi in his political and social work. So in such a relationship they had in between them. And there is one more piece of information given here is that it was in Rastomjee's house once Gandhi took shelter while he was attacked by white people. Okay, now let us go to discuss the story, this small extract in detail in order to know more about the content. The reader by now will be quite familiar with Pasi Rastomjee's name. So now we are familiar with Pasi Rastomjee because Pasi Rastomjee was once his close friend, then his client, and once Gandhi also took shelter in Rastomjee's home or house when he was attacked by the white mob or white people. Okay, so in that way now we have an idea about who Pasi Rastomjee is. He was one who became at once my client and co-worker, or perhaps it would be truer to say that he first became co-worker and then client. So Gandhi himself admitted here that Pasi Rastomjee was once his client. His client, the meaning is given here, a person who gets help or advice from a lawyer. So once Pasi Rastomjee was there to seek some help from Gandhi because he was actually a lawyer at that time, and then later he became a co-worker. And Gandhi here admitted himself that it was better to say that Pasi Rastomjee became his co-worker than his client. So before years Pasi Rastomjee became his client. They were actually good friends. Okay. I won his confidence to such an extent that he sought and followed my advice also in private domestic matters. And there was actually a very deep relationship between or deep trust or deep honesty, everything in between Gandhi and this man. So that is what Pasi Rastomjee, even in his private and domestic matters, always sought help from Gandhi. Even when he was ill, he would seek my aid, and though there was such difference between our ways of living, he did not hesitate to accept my quack treatment. What do you mean by quack treatment? A person who pretends to have knowledge of medicine that he doesn't possess. So even though Gandhi didn't have that much knowledge in medicine, even the small prescriptions that Gandhi suggested for whom, for Pasi Rastomjee, he took or accepted all those prescriptions without any hesitation. That means, Pasi Rastomjee had such kind of a belief over Gandhi. This friend once got into a very bad scrape. Scrape means a difficult situation that you have caused yourself. Though he kept me informed of most of his affairs, he had studiously kept back one thing. He was a large importer of goods from Bombay to Calcutta, and not infrequently he resorted to smuggling. But as he was on the best terms with customs officials, no one was inclined to suspect him. In charging duty, they used to take his invoices on trust. Some might even have connived at the smuggling. Connived means worked secretly with Rastomjee to smuggle goods. And here it is said that Pasi Rastomjee had not anything which he was not discussed with whom? He was not discussed with Gandhi. So in that way, he shared everything with whom? Everything with Gandhiji. But here Gandhi is speaking about a particular thing which Pasi Rastomjee did not share with whom? Gandhi. So Pasi Rastomjee was actually an importer of goods from Bombay to Calcutta, and not infrequently. What do you mean by not infrequently? Quite often he also immersed or involved in smuggling, and he was not caught because he had that much influence among those who were actually having power. So that is what here it is said that, but as he was on the best terms with customs officials, so he had actually a good rapport with customs officials, so he would never been caught, or he was never been caught by these custom officials. In charging duty, they used to take his invoices on trust. Whenever charging duty means, duty is the meaning is given here, the tax, a tax that you pay especially on goods that you bring into a country. So in charging the duty, the custom officials used to take whose invoices? Used to take Pasi Rastomjee's invoices. Invoices means an official paper that lists goods that you have received and says how much you have to pay for them. That means, they all believed him in that way. So what he said, see for example, only he imported only 50% of goods, then he reported to the customs officials that he only imported 50%. They would definitely believe him. So even though he imported 60 or 80%, he only used to say that only 40% or 30%. So in that way he did some malpractices in even in paying tax. Okay. So but he would never been caught because all those officials had that much, they had actually a good trust on him. Some might even have connived at the smuggling. Connived means many people actually worked secretly with Rastomjee to smuggle goods, and Rastomjee had actually a friend circle who were actually doing smuggling activities with him. But to use the telling simile of Gujarati poet Akku, theft like quicksilver won't be suppressed. So this here Gandhi brought just a comparison, a simile used in poem of a famous Gujarati poet Echo, and what is a simile used there? Theft like quicksilver won't be suppressed. Quicksilver is actually mercury. Quicksilver means mercury. So, theft like quicksilver won't be suppressed. That means, simply it means that Pasi Rastomjee had that much influence among all those people who were actually having power. So, he would never be caught. Okay, that is the idea conveyed here. The good friend the good friend ran post hate to me, tears rolling down his cheeks as he said, "Bhai, I have deceived you." And suddenly, then one day, this Pasi Rastomjee confessed to Gandhi that, "Bhai, I have deceived you." He said that he had deceived him. That means he had misled him. Okay. "My guilt has been discovered today. I have smuggled and I am doomed." What do you mean by doomed? Yeah, certain to be ruined. So then he said, one day he said that, "Bhai, I had deceived you." Okay, he had deceived, he had misled him. Okay, and he said that, yeah, he had caught his guilt. His guilt had been discovered by the government officials. Okay, "I must go to jail and be ruined." So possibly, if they called me, yeah, they would definitely put me in jail, and I would definitely ruin completely. Both personally and professionally, he would ruin. Okay, if such a news was revealed out, then that would definitely affect his business, affect his trade. Okay, "You alone may be able to save me from this predicament." And he said that, "You are so Gandhi was actually a lawyer, and he said that Gandhi was the only person who was able to save him from his unpleasant situation. "I have kept back nothing else from you, but I thought I ought not to bother you with such tricks of the trade, and so I never told you about this smuggling, but now how much I repent it." So then he said that he had shared everything to Gandhi, but this was he cunningly made secret from whom? He cunningly kept as a secret from Gandhi, because he simply thought that Gandhi was actually a very straightforward person. So it was better to keep this as a secret from Gandhi. Okay, but now how much I repented. But now he said that, yeah, he regretted for not telling this to whom, or for not sharing this to Gandhi. Okay, "I calmed him and said, to save or not to save you is in his hands. As to me, you know my way. I can but try to save you by means of confession." Okay, then Gandhi said that saving you or not is not his duty. It is actually the duty of the Almighty. Okay, "As to me, you know my way." So as you know, I am actually, he said that, as you know, Gandhi said that he was actually a straightforward person. "I can but try to save you by means of confession." So, but he said that, Gandhi said that he would try to save his life by means of confession. By means of confession means by confessing our crime in front of the government officials. Then the government officials would definitely fix a penalty for that. In that way, they would make that particular person free from his guilt, or free from his crime. So in that way, Gandhi said that he could try to save him through means of confession. Okay. The good Pasi felt deeply mortified. What do you mean by mortified? Hurt. So when Gandhi said so, he felt too much, he felt as if he was hurted. But is not my confession before you enough? He asked. Then Pasi Rastomjee asked Gandhi that was his confession before Gandhi enough? Okay, was his confession before Gandhi enough? Then, you have wronged not me but the government. How will the confession made before me avail you? I replied gently. Then Gandhi said that, why it would be possible? Because you actually made the government a fool. Then how the confession would be complete if you confessed in front of me? Because you actually wronged the government, so you have to confess in front of the government. In that way, Gandhi replied in a gentle manner. Of course, I will do just as you advise, but will you not consult with my old counsel, Mr. He is a friend too, said Pasi Rastomji. Then he put forward a condition. Then he said to Gandhi that, yes, he said that he would do anything that Gandhi suggested, but he asked Gandhi to keep this as a secret and do not reveal it to his previous counsel. Counsel means a lawyer who actually worked him, who actually helped him in his finance, business and all those matters. Okay, so he asked Gandhi not to reveal this to his previous counsel. Inquiry revealed that the smuggling had been going on for a long time, but the actual offence detected involving a trifling sum. So, when the inquiry made, it was found that this smuggling had been undergoing for a long period of time, but yeah, he was caught while he was doing a small sum. That means while he was doing a not so much important smuggling. Okay, he was actually doing a small smuggling. Okay, we went to his counsel. He perused the papers and said, the case will be tried by a jury and a natal jury will be the last to acquit an Indian. But I will not give up hope. Then, as they went to the counsel's office, the counsel said, after examining the papers and documents, said that this case, he said that this case actually handed over by a jury. A jury means a group of lawyers or a group of judges, and the last authority, the highest authority was actually the natal jury. The natal jury means natal is actually a province in the former British colony, or it is actually a province in South Africa. So, the natal jury will be the last to acquit an Indian, and the natal jury will be the last to acquit an Indian. So, the natal jury is actually a natal jury is actually a province in South Africa, and this would be the last to acquit. Acquit means to state that somebody is actually guilty or not, an Indian. Okay, so the natal jury having the highest authority to state somebody is guilty or not is an Indian. But I will not give up hope. But he added that there was nothing to worry. Okay, I did not know this counsel intimately. Then he added that he didn't know this counsel intimately. Pasi Rastomji intercepted. Then suddenly Pasi Rastomji intercepted and said, I thank you, but I should like to be guided by Mr. Gandhi's advice in this case. Okay, anyway, I thank you for all your valuable suggestions, but in this case, he actually wanted the help of whom? Help of Gandhi. He knows me intimately, and he said that Gandhi knew him intimately. Of course, you will advise him whenever necessary. So, you could advise him whenever there is a necessary situation. Okay. Having this shelved the counsel's question, we went to Pasi Rastomji's shop. So, having been postponed all these questions, they actually went to Pasi Rastomji's shop. And now explaining my view, I said to him, I don't think this case should be taken to court at all. It rests with the customs officer to prosecute you or let you go, and he in turn will have to be guided by the Attorney General. Then Gandhi expressed his views regarding this case. Gandhi said that, and now explaining my view, I said to him, I don't think this case should be taken to court at all. So Gandhi said that according to his opinion, this case would not be taken to court. It rests with the customs officer to prosecute you or let you go, and he in turn will have to be guided by the Attorney General. And he added that the customs officer could make you imprisoned or could make you free. Okay, and he in turn will have to be guided by the Attorney General, and apart from the custom officer there was actually an Attorney General, and they together could decide, or they together could determine whether they want to imprison him or whether they want to let him free. Okay, I am prepared to meet both. I propose that you should offer to pay the penalty they fix. So Gandhi said that he was prepared to face both. That means he expected that there were two possibilities. Either they imprisoned him or they let him free. Okay, so there were two possibilities. I propose that you should offer to pay the penalty they fix, and the odds are that they will be agreeable. Okay, odds means the ratio of the probability of an event. Okay, so the thing Gandhi said here is that Gandhi was of the opinion that Pasi Rastomjee had to take the penalty these officials fix on him. Okay. So in that way, if he accepted the penalty they actually fixed, in that way he could easily be away from, or he could easily escape from his imprisonment. Okay, but if they are not, you must be prepared to go to jail, and if they didn't give such kind of a provision, he had to go to jail. There was no other option. I am of opinion that the shame lies not so much in going to jail as in committing the offence. And Gandhi said that the shame was similar, or the shame was almost equal. See, I am of opinion that the shame lies not so much in going to jail as in committing the offence. So when taking the shame of going to jail and committing the offence, the shame of committing the offence is much than going to jail. Okay, the deed of shame has already been done. So the deed of shame, that means he committed the offence, and the shame that happened as a part of committing this offence had already occurred. So now there was only one shame, and that shame was actually going to jail, and that the shame of going to jail is not so much than the shame of committing the offence. Okay, imprisonment you should regard as a penance. So if they advise you for an imprisonment, you have to take the imprisonment as a penance. As a penance means a punishment that you give yourself to show you are sorry for doing something wrong. So if they actually imprison you, take that as actually a penance. Take that actually a punishment for the misbehavior that happened from your part. Okay, the real penance lies in resolving never to smuggle again, and the real punishment is not this imprisonment or anything like that. The real punishment is that you have to take a decision that never to indulge in such activities. The real penance lies in resolving never to smuggle again. Okay, so I think we can stop here. Anyway, thank you and have a nice day.